Hey guys, it's Dan at Ready to Go again, here hitting you up with some new good information. In fact, today we'll be covering a topic that's really near and dear to my heart because it's something I wish I had known, not only as a student who was going to high school, but as someone who was teaching high schoolers after that. Everything from math to history to English and AP Bio is the missing link. What are you not doing this summer? The single thing that's the most important thing that you're just not doing this summer. Probably with few exceptions, but most of us, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're missing this. So let's get into it. Before we get started, guys, definitely drop a like, a subscribe. Really helps our channel grow and helps me keep making good content for you. What is the topic? What is the secret? What are you missing out this summer? And it starts with reading. I know it sounds really boring, but hear me out. As someone who's trained SAT takers, as someone who's tutored people and taught people for the past 16 years of my life, this is the one thing that you're probably missing, and here's why. Number one, colleges ask for it, whether it's Columbia or USC, so coast to coast, New York City to Los Angeles, right? Colleges nowadays, one of their favorite questions to ask in college applications is, what have you read lately, or what are your favorite books? And trust me, if all you have to say is To Kill a Mockingbird or Lord of the Flies or The Great Gatsby or The Crucible, you're in some serious trouble. And the reason why colleges ask for what you've read is reading is a habit that is indicative of curiosity. And if you don't like to read, then what business do you have going to these kinds of schools that are going to basically require a ton of it for you, right? In the age where, basically everyone is just on Snapchat, TikTok, right, Instagram, YouTube, it's the thing that also sets you apart. If you're just one of the, out of, let's say, every 1,000 students who loves to read, it also does differentiate you. So I get that question a lot too, which is how would I differentiate myself from everyone else? Well, I know it sounds crazy, but why don't you go and start reading a little bit? And again, guys, start along your interests, right? So read things that are along your interests, not things like novels or books that you feel like are going to be too daunting. It doesn't have to be books. It can also just be articles. We'll talk about that in a second. The second reason why, you should probably start picking up a little bit more reading is because it's actually the missing link to test prep. While everyone's all signed up for summer boot camps and things like that, what I found is that everyone has this deficiency in critical reading and writing. And that's because the last time they read was Harry Potter or Percy Jackson back in the 6th or 7th grade. Since then, people just stop reading, it falls off a cliff, and they basically just use a lot more interactive sources like YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, right? And no one reads anymore. So guys, think about it this way. How can you possibly be prepared for a standardized reading exam that's testing, let's say, at around the 11th grade or 12th grade level with 7th grade reading like skills, right? That's why we see so many deficiencies in the reading section of the SAT or the ACT, is because no matter how many times you take practice tests, if your reading is just still stuck on 6th or 7th grade, there's no way you're going to do well in this 11th grade level reading exam. Okay, so get started, especially if you're in 9th or 10th grade, to start reading just in general. It could be anything. It could be the news on BBC. It could be NPR. It could be articles about science and space, perhaps, if you like them. It could be literary works and classics. Whatever it is that gets you kind of interested, start reading a little bit more and integrate that even just a little bit on a consistent basis, guys, will make you that much stronger of a reader and that much stronger of a test taker, so that you're not hung at 1350 or 1450, but you're consistently getting something in the range of, let's say, a 1500 all the time. And trust me, it sounds crazy, but all students are capable of scoring well in SAT. After all, it only tests you up through Algebra 2, and it also needs to test you for your writing and language skills, including your critical reading. Lastly, guys, reading is a great way to get inspiration, right? I mean, come on, school, I think it's pretty much consensus nowadays. School is not inspiring, right? And typically saps us of our inspiration. It's also usually why we stop reading, right? When we start getting into the high school years, things get really robotic and transactional, and there's a lot to worry about, not to mention like all the changes that are happening with us and our bodies, at adolescence. So, oftentimes I find that students are really uninspired because they have less than, impressive and obviously lackluster teachers who also aren't very passionate about their subjects. Well, guess what, guys? Reading is a way to choose your teachers, right? And that's not just with regards to the people who are still here, but that's also people from thousands of years ago, right? You can read philosophers' works or people's works from all those hundreds or thousands of years ago. Or you can choose to read other people that you don't have necessarily access to right now, meaning you can read authors who are based out of Boston, based out of New York, based out of China, Africa, right? And so what I found is that reading can be incredibly inspiring because it's the people that you get to choose to read. So don't think about it always as choosing books or choosing articles. How about choose your authors, right? Find the people who are thought leaders in the areas of your interest, whether it's psychology and people, or it's economics, or it's engineering or space, right? Whatever it is, find the authors that you find inspiring. Typically, you could even find them through like watching TED Talk videos, for instance, and you just look into what they've written. And whether that's research papers or that's articles, on a science journal, or that's just a book, right? Typically, I find that really it allows you to choose your teachers and then be inspired by the things that you typically don't really get to learn about when you're in high school. So guys, the one thing that you're not doing right now, get started if you haven't already. If you're already doing it, wonderful, right? Keep at it. Reading is the secret ingredient that I've found, not only for standardized test success, but also I think, to be honest with you guys, learning in life and being curious, right? Choosing your teachers is a way to be inspired, to constantly want to learn, not just while you're in high school, but even beyond college. Reading is really a conduit, a gateway to a whole new world. So I hope this helped, guys. I'm an avid reader myself. I always have about 4 or 5 books open at the same time. Call it ADHD, call it what you want. I love reading now. And by the way, maybe more on this another time, but I found the same kind of like boredom in reading, I think, that I see in a lot of my students in high school nowadays, because I was also addicted to the interactive things like YouTube and video gaming, right? But since then, I've really kind of found the joys of really kind of hearing, right, and picking out my teachers talk about things that they're also really passionate about. And they don't even have to be in person, but I can just read their voice and feel what they're trying to say to really kind of get what I can from them. So anyway, guys, drop a like, subscribe if this was interesting or somewhat inspiring. Take it from me, someone who loved to read, didn't like to read, and now loves to read again. Everyone can find something there, and there's some kind of reading for everyone. Just trust me on that. All right, guys, catch you later.